Morning, BridgeNation. Welcome to the Public Eye. I'm Ronnie Thwaites, and with me is the Honourable Pearnel Charles. We're going to talk to you about the affairs of the nation, link up your consciousness wherever you are, Jamaicans in the world, with what's happening locally. Join us for the next 2 hours. We have a varied program for you. That's the nature of the Public Eye. It's the purpose of the bridge. First thing off this morning, Garth Gayle of the Jamaica Amateur Athletics Administrative Association. Yes, it's about the 49th staging of the Carifta Games to be starting Saturday, April 16th at the National Stadium. Yes, what's the JAAA doing? How is it going to really figure out the importance of regional cooperation in athletics? What are some of the lessons that recent events can teach us, particularly champs? Yes, and I think that we should start with the usual congratulations, Mr. Charles, for Kingston College and for Edwin Allen. You're a Clarendon man by osmosis.
Yes, so, although Edwin Allen
slightly outside of your constituency. Yes,
I claim Edwin Allen as a Clarendonian.
Indeed. And
having spent 20 years.
Yes, and let us pay tribute to two very important men. One, the Honourable Edwin Allen, and secondly, among many, the Right Reverend Percival William Gibson.
Oh, yes.
Founders of, one an inspirer, the other a founder of both those very good schools.
How many schools did Gibson?
About 5. Yes.
Is he Clarendon College too?
No, that's Clarendon College is United Church.
Oh, okay.
But Bishop's High School in Mandeville, Glenmuir High School.
Oh,
yes.
Fantastic.
All of those.
I'm more attracted to the name.
Yes.
Well, no, I'm more attracted to the lady who is in charge.
Uh-huh.
I have never heard that lady have any sort of down.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't matter what is happening.
Of where? Which school? Glenmuir?
Glenmuir.
Yes.
She's always...
Dr. Smalling.
She's always saying,
yes.
Look here, government is helping.
Yes.
We have to help ourselves.
Yes.
Parents, I mean...
Fine educator.
Fantastic.
I had the honor of confirming her appointment when I sat in a certain seat. Oh, yes. There you go. And I could tell you more.
I said it to Omar, and Omar said,
well, he was on the board that chose her.
That's right.
Yes, look at that. So we congratulate the winners, and we look forward to hearing more of Jamaica's prowess in athletics from Garth Gayle later on this afternoon. Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay of the police force joins us to tell us about the Get the Guns campaign. I have some tough questions for her. And when we join Ira Jam Radio and our friend Beauregard after 1 o'clock on the Public Eye this afternoon, Dr. Dunkley, one of the leaders of the diaspora in New York, in the northeastern section, Dr. Karren Dunkley, joins us to discuss the Diaspora Global Resource Fund. They're coming together to continue an admirable history of assistance to Jamaican needs, particularly for students and for others in need. So this is the Public Eye. You can call us on 876-676-4996, and the WhatsApp and text line is 876-551-5782. The Bridge, a special station meeting a special need, never before done in this way. We invite you to rope in to be with us. Good. So, Chief, let's ask ourselves and inform our people abroad some of the major items of the news since we were last together.
Yes, a lot of things have happened.
Uh-huh.
What are some of the significant ones? You are the journalist and lawyer.
Well, I'm wanting to commend the Prime Minister for indicating that there soon will be mandatory youth service,
yes.
youth training service.
I know that you have sown that in my ear before the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
You've been saying this from last year.
Yes.
Early last year.
Uh-huh. And he told me many years ago that he agreed with it. But,
yes,
but
okay.
but it has taken so long and is still taking so long to effect. Let's explain it to our listeners.
I needed to explain it so that we know what can come out of that?
Yes.
Are we going to get professionals like men in the military, men in the army, men in the hotel industry? How are we going to do? We're just going to train them.
We're going to get better than that, in my view. Those things will all happen. But what we should get out of it is highly disciplined,
yes,
motivated,
yes,
properly socialized
right,
young men and women. And that's a bottom line. When you have those...
Well, not the bottom line, that's the top
line. Gotcha. Stand the correction, sir.
That's where we want to go.
That's what, and after that, people will devolve into all kinds of different professions. Some will be the plumber,
yes,
some will be the electrician,
yes,
some will be the driver, some will be the lawyer or the doctor. And
but they would have bypassed something that we don't want.
Yeah.
And they would have been above that and looking down on that as not the way to go.
Indeed. That would be the real surge towards an ordered and a more equal society.
Yes.
Not the repression that the Parliament is now considering in Gordon House. Different.
Well, put it this way. Once we have that, we don't need that sort of thing. But
unfortunately, history doesn't tell us that.
Well,
because we have people...
We have to make history sometime.
No. We do. Thank you. I'll leave that there.
We have to make history sometime.
But
we must be guided by what we see.
Sure.
And don't go with the negative.
Well, but the government that we have of today is running headlong in the negative. But for this statement, which I hope is a firm resolve by the Prime Minister, the thing that I really hope to hear from him is how, when, how soon, and what nature. Yes? We're talking about, for example, Minister Williams of Education, for whom I have high regard, is saying that we have 8,000 more students opting for the sixth form, one of the various manifestations. Yeah. But I have a question, Minister. If the young people are coming out of school and they can't read and write properly and they're not socialized properly, yes? What are they going to do in sixth form, please, sir?
Well, let me say something that bothers me, and I was thinking about discussing with you yesterday.
Sure.
A lot of the children who are not in school are at work.
Yes.
Should there be a call to employers to see that those children who did not finish high school and are now working with them go back to school?
Yes.
Because as soon as they let them off, where are they going to go?
And how are they going to make ends meet? Many of them are breadwinners in their households.
And they might be happy to have them there now at a $10,000, $12,000. That can't work.
Try your best.
Because even minimum wage. So I think that an appeal should be made first to employers. Get those children who came on to you, who you assisted during that rough time.
Yes.
Right?
Well,
get them back to go back to school.
Good idea, and let's carry that discussion a little further after this caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Public Eye.
Yes, good morning, Rafi. Dr. Thwaites?
Yes.
Yes, I have an issue here. You are deacon, Anglican deacon, right?
No, Catholic. Roman Catholic.
Okay. But you know, because the Catholic and the Anglican are coming from the same.
Yes, and I'm highly respectful. I would like to think of myself as part of their community too.
Yes. Dr. Thwaites, do you know of any instances where the rector of one of these church, you being a member, are you going to the church, but as a member, are just a
visitor?
Church go, right? And you asking the rector or the minister to bless, consecrate like the olive oil for you or something like that and stuff like that. You know of any instances where the rector can't do that? Or he doesn't have the power to do that?
Cannot do that? No. The only experience that I have is when someone came to me to bless oils, and what I had knowledge of was that they intended to use it for necromancy. Yes, and therefore they would be debasing the blessing. And so I said, no, not that. But normally, you don't have to ask that question. If a person who appears to be of good intention brings you an article and asks you to pray the blessing of the Lord over it, then you should do so.
Okay. Well, because I had a similar experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
But you understand the distinction I'm making?
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
But, because I had a similar experience, and then the rector said he couldn't do that. He doesn't have the power to do that. He's the bishop. It is the bishop who has the power to do it. So that's why I said, let me ask somebody who is in that faith and
Well, let me tell you, there are some rituals and some blessings that are more appropriate to people of certain offices, like the bishop or the priest or the deacon. Yeah. Okay, but I take a broad view. Everybody must feel free to call down the blessing of God on each other and upon all of his created things and beings. So if a person, what is a blessing? A blessing is a prayer of consecration of something particular. Yes? It is an acceptance that God is in charge, that he is the Lord of our lives, and therefore we should not withhold blessing.
That's right.
Okay.
Whether the person is a member or just a visitor, somebody will walk in.
Lord have mercy. Listen to me, miss. If when we go to heaven, there's going to be all kind of distinction as to who is from this club and from that church and from this society.
Yeah. And who have that color.
Who have that color.
I'm not going there.
Lord have mercy. I could never reach.
Okay, then.
All right. So let us just lift up the Lord and lift up one another who are made in his image and likeness, you see? And don't bother with too much ism and schism.
That's right.
Thanks for your call.
Okay, thank you.
When we come back on the Public Eye, Garth Gayle of the JAAA will join Pearnel, Charles, and myself. Soon come.
I like to. Oh, are you going to go now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pearnel, Charles, and myself for the next 2 hours with you. Good morning, Mr. Garth Gayle. Welcome to the Public Eye on the Bridge.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be a part of your program.
Thank you very much, President of the Jamaica Amateur Athletic Association, Garth Gayle. Tell us about the Carifta Games, sir. What's happening with them? And perhaps you could even broaden out your comments, because as we would want and as you expect and know, there are many Jamaicans in the diaspora who just find their identity and enlightenment in Jamaican sports.
That is correct, Reverend Thwaites. We came on late as host due to a challenge from the whole country that was given the responsibility to host, which was Guyana. And the long and short of it, we as Jamaicans, we know how to host and to have track and field meets. And so we will have over the Easter weekend, starting as of Saturday at 9 a.m., and we'll have 2 sessions each day, 9, and then we begin in the afternoon at 4, but on Saturday will be the opening ceremony, and we continue until Monday afternoon, where we will see Jamaica and the Caribbean, 25 countries from the Caribbean region, running and showing their skills here at our national stadium. We are expecting it to be an eventful track and field meet. We boast here in Jamaica a good array of junior athletes, especially we would have seen signs of that coming off the recent Girls and Boys Championships over the weekend. And many of our neighbors, Bahamas, Barbados, Trinidad, and also from French territories, Martinique, Guadeloupe, will want to come now to see how they can pit their skills against all Jamaicans. But we know, the diaspora needs to know that Jamaica will show them how to run, how to drum, and how to throw.
Yeah, Garth Gayle, is the Carifta Games this weekend, is it an anticlimax after the triumph of champs? What do you think? Champs are so good, so well organized, so exquisitely planned for. What do you think, Pearnel?
Well, first I'd like to say to him a special congratulations.
Yes.
Not only to the performers, but to those who prepared them for it.
For champs.
For champs. I think that it's just ideal. I thought I was talking international.
Yeah.
I have nothing international.
Yeah. Well, this
was
is
was missing.
Oh, the Carifta is international.
No. What I mean, I'm talking
no,
last
I'm
weekend.
Understanding you. I'm understanding you. Garth Gayle.
And I want to congratulate them and
Sure.
pass it on to the team
to those,
of
sure.
organizers.
Yes.
And if you can
do the
duplicate
same. One thing.
what happened last week,
Yes.
then last night with the reggae girls couldn't be better.
Yes. Garth Gayle, what do you think?
I totally agree with you, Sir Charles. And yes, I'm a part of the ISRA setup as well.
Yeah, man.
As president of the J3s, this is our annual regional championships, where it's the gateway for future Olympians and world champions.
True.
Many have done so over these years and have moved on to do exceptional well for their countries, Jamaica notwithstanding. And so, without doubt, you will see again another high-quality show because our officials are well trained and they will be supported by members from the NACAC International Regional Panel.
Really?
To work with our local coach, our local officials. Our coaches have done well, and I will pass on the congratulations. And Reverend Thwaites, how could I say another word without acknowledging the strength and prowess of Kingston College? Fortis Cadway said when non-protest.
Not protest.
You being a North Street man yourself.
Listen to me. Bishop Gibbs is a Georgian, you know, Pearnel, Charles.
Oh, yes?
Yes. But I had to cheer for KC just on the basis of proximity, you know.
And we are brothers.
Yes, we are.
But I don't understand. I don't understand how you guys are so much for men. You cannot bypass Edwin Allen.
No, Charles,
they did well.
And you cannot bypass a school that nobody even know they're passing.
Yeah.
Hyacinth Bennett School out at
Hydel.
I mean,
yes, they too, and they now boast 2 under 18 world record holders.
Yes. But you know, Garth Gayle, both at the Carifta Games and at champs, I'm always in favor of the underdog. You see.
Yes.
And when I think of another school coming up, New Forest in southern Manchester,
yes,
sending 2 athletes for the first time. This is a relatively new school.
Yes.
And supporting them and them doing reasonably well. It is the aspiration, it is the effort, it is the sacrifice. Those are the things that really are the gems, the values, the virtues coming out of this, sir. Apart from all the records, what do you think?
No, totally agree.
Yeah. And that is a big contribution, Pearnel, to national.
One of the bigger contributions.
Yes.
Is that people who used to believe.
Yes.
That the best schools are in Kingston.
Yes.
Are now deciding to send their children out into some of the good schools in the rural areas.
Well, I think they should send their children to the schools nearest to them.
Yes,
but that's another matter.
That's the point is.
Sure.
We haven't reached there yet.
No, but we're broadening it out, and that's it. So
because those schools were not heard of.
How do you recruit the teams for the Carifta Games and Garth Gayle? How does that go? It's a national effort, and is the J3As?
It is national as well as international because it's, as I said, it is the Caribbean Games, and so we would have the involvement of the NACAC, the governing body for Caribbean in the region. So we operate and manage along with them.
Yes.
Can I just ask him a question?
Please go ahead.
Any of those people who run last week,
Yeah, are they coming?
are they going to be
In Carifta Games this weekend?
competing against the others?
Hear him.
Yes, most definitely. 80 strong male and female.
Good. Many of whom would have competed at champs.
That is correct.
Excellent. So they're getting another outing.
One of the biggest events to watch for is the girls under 24 by 1. Currently, we hold the world record as we speak. And all those young ladies
Where's she
are
from?
now available.
Where's she from?
And are now on the Carifta team.
Yes.
Where's she from?
This would include the girls that triumphs at champs.
The Clayton twins.
Clayton twins from Edwin Allen.
Liston.
Liston from Hannah.
200 meter record holder.
Yes.
22.54.
Yes.
And as a schoolgirl,
Yes.
which ranks her roughly third, I think, at the moment, international with the elite senior athlete.
Yes.
Will also be a member of the national team.
Yes.
You
Okay.
know,
So tell us now what do we need from the Jamaican people? How can everyone come for this occasion?
We welcome. We need all Jamaicans to.
Yeah, that's why we're anxious for this interview. Yes.
But you should answer
and for
me.
them to come with their pad covers because what is of significance?
Yeah.
The Jankuna band from Cayman Islands, from Bahamas.
John Kuno.
Most famous Jankuna band.
Yeah,
will be
it's
here.
coming. Oh, I see. So
Yes.
entertainment as well as
Yes,
athletics.
And so we can't allow them to come to our stores. We are winning the medals, most of the medals,
Yes.
and they come and outperform us with their band. So Kingston
Listen, I was a little worried when I look at what was happening at the stadium.
Yeah.
Am I correct that
Yes.
most or all of who were there had their vaccination?
I don't think. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Well, from a school perspective, the intersecondary school association has been pushing vaccination for our sportsmen and women.
Uh-huh.
And a successful bid at the recent concluding Manning Cup.
These were for the participants.
Right. for the
Okay.
participants.
So is there any requirement for Carifta or is it open season?
No, it's now open. The government would have removed the situation, so it's now open.
Okay. So people.
However, our all international athletes
Uh-huh.
and officials, by the law, still comes in with a negative COVID test, and 48 hours before the start of the competition,
Yeah.
inclusive of all foreign athletes, Jamaicans as well, will be tested again.
Okay, no, that's important. So
very important.
Very important. That's important. That you've clarified that everybody will have had a COVID test and will be tested on the eve of or close to the start of the games. That is the best. That is sufficient protection in my humble view, Pearnel, for given the relaxation.
Let me tell you what is exciting to me now.
Yeah.
When I look at what was happening at the stadium,
Champs. Uh-huh.
I said, my God, I hope.
Is this a super spreader?
Well, exactly.
Yeah, but there's no sign of that, hopefully.
So could you tell us, sir, has any announcement of any super spread of the virus as a result of Saturday?
Garth Gayle, we haven't heard anything like that.
The countries are working at home.
Wonder why we've
No, I'm
lost.
sorry about that. I
Yes.
actually at the office. I was just moving to
sure.
this, but I'm listening and I'm participating.
So
You are both correct.
yes.
That we have a medical commission led by Dr. Carl Bruce of the University of the West Indies,
The best.
and thank you, and hails from Manchester, may I say, and Manchester High School,
Good.
and he has with him a array of doctors that makes up the Carifta Medical Commission.
Yeah.
And so they are fully activated. So at the stadium, at the village, which will be the Rex Netherford Hall,
Right.
9 clusters being used.
That's
there.
up at the university.
At the university.
Uh-huh.
There will be a polyclinic set up there.
Okay.
And also, they are right at the doorsteps of the University of West Indies
Good.
Hospital. And so all the necessary things will be in place
Tell
for
us,
safety and well-being.
Tell us quickly how you get tickets.
Be the main hotel for international
for your visitors. How you get tickets, sir?
Sorry?
How do you get tickets?
How do you
Tickets
get
are
in?
available as we speak at the National Stadium.
Good.
Ticket booth as well as online.
Right. Okay. And is there an online portal that you can tell us?
Well, there is.
You have it available. If not, text it in to us, and we'll broadcast it for our overseas people, because many of them would like to come, maybe if they can, and certainly to be able to have media links which will allow them to participate would be important too.
Yes, because Sportsmax will be the.
Oh, good.
Yes. And so the link is MYSTICON
MYSTICON
LINE TIX.com.
Boy, MYSTICON LINETIX. Mystic Online Tickets.
Ticket.com.
I got you. Garth Gayle, I mean, really, praise to you and to the team of J3As for reacting quickly and efficiently for the hosting of the Carifta Games. And let's keep the strong loyalty and pride of Jamaicans. I'm glad to report that the Bridge 99 will be doing live links for the games, as we should. And we hope that they have a great success and that we are really preparing to burnish our international reputation. Much obliged for this interview. All the best to you.
And thank you very much. And it's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much. Good. Garth Gayle, President of the Jamaica Amateur Athletic Association. I enjoyed that, and we look forward.
And it should inspire a lot of those who have taken the vaccine.
Yes.
It should attract many who did not take to see how people were able to go, operate freely in an environment of friends.
And still stay safe. Stay safe.
And stay safe.
Yes. When we come back from the break on the Public Eye, let's ask the police how the Get the Guns campaign is going. Soon come. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. The Honorable Pearnel Charles is a co-host on this program. Superintendent Lindsay, morning.
Hello, good morning.
Happy to have you. Thank you very much for joining us. Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay is in charge of public relations for the Jamaica Constabulary. Superintendent, tell us about the Get the Guns campaign. Is it working?
Yes, it is working.
Okay. What's your evaluation? How do you know it's working?
Well, it is working because part of it is that it is to engage as many citizens as possible to tell us about guns that they are seeing in their community. And when we look at the statistics from Crime Stop, where since we started the campaign, we're seeing a 97% increase in calls around that period versus sharing information.
Yes.
We're also seeing where we are seizing a number of illegal guns, more guns for the same period than we did last year. So those are positive indicators that we are reaching persons.
I'm sure that Pearnel Charles was as happy as I to note that the report was that the people who call Crime Stop are not interested in the money so much as they are in promoting peace by giving the information that they have. That's a very good sign, Soup.
Very, very good sign. And not even just those who call Crime Stop, they call 119. And it's a similar sentiment.
Yes.
We are not interested in the money. Mm-hmm. We believe we have a civic responsibility. We are just tired of the crime and violence.
Yes. What do you think, sir?
First, I want to congratulate you. I'm worried about the detail of your presentation every time because I'm not the only one listening. The guys in the woods are also listening when you're coming or where you're going. However, I congratulate you for holding that line, that standard of performance presentation on behalf of the force over the past few years.
Thank you very much, sir.
I have the hard one for you, Superintendent, because it's all well and good to bring in the guns, and that's nice, but there seem to be more and more guns. I would like to hear that we have less guns coming in, as well as hearing that we're collecting more.
Well, we know we are collecting more, so that's an indication that we are actually taking away the guns from the gangs and the criminals.
It's also an indication that there's a proliferation of guns in the society.
Yes, it's correct.
And that Jamaica has become a gun culture, Superintendent Lindsay.
Exactly.
Yes, and that is promoted from the highest levels of the society that continues to give out guns or to make the carrying of a gun, the ownership of a gun, it seems like some great premium, great asset to have. That's a bottom line for me, man. Please help us.
So before you come, I want to pick it from where you are.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to A.
Yeah.
First, it was flinging a rock stone. Then it moved up to carrying a knife.
Yes, sir.
Then it moved up to carrying scissors.
Mm-hmm.
Then it moved out of school to I'm going to protect myself.
Yeah.
They're not flinging stone after you again.
Uh-huh.
And they send even to Diaspora to say, listen, I know you're sending food, but send a little money because I protect myself. So I need a gun.
Yeah.
So the problem is some people consciously believe they're helping themselves.
Of course.
Take it from there, Sue.
Right. So, like you said, that the gun has become a preferred weapon for the people, because the big problem that we have a violence problem. And because of the violence, people don't resolve conflict in any sensible way. They use violence to resolve simple conflict. So they see this gun as this big thing that they have to protect themselves. And there's a market out there for it, because when you look at the murders that we are seeing, over 80% of the murders, they are guns. So what you find is that the more we put and we impact by seizing the gun, they find more creative ways to bring guns, because they believe that it empowers them to take advantage of people and to reign terror and some dominance within a community space.
Let me tell you a story, Soup. You and Pearnel. When I was more active in the inner city, I remember meeting a couple of young men late one night at the bottom of Elliston Road, and they assumed that I had a gun. Yes, and their question was, "How come you get a gun? And you live uptown, and we who are more in need of protecting ourselves than you, because you have car, you can get gun. We can't get the gun." And therefore, it was a short order for them to disclose that indeed they are armed. But that is a mentality. And while we must give thanks for every illegal gun that is taken off the street,
but there are two,
with the greatest of respect, that's not going to solve the problem.
But there are two types of people there.
Yeah.
There is one who gets a gun to live economically, financially, by the gun.
By the gun.
There's one who gets a gun because he wants to protect himself from being killed by those.
Sure. But all of them who are not legal are going to be subject to a 15-year mandatory sentence.
One thing I wanted to ask
unjust. Babylon.
What I want to ask is this too. Are there more guns coming in, or we are finding more of the guns that have been here?
All right, so it's hard to say if more guns are coming in, because we don't really know all of them that are coming in. What we do know is that we are seizing more guns. What we do know is that we are seeing where, in addition to more guns, we are seeing more high-powered weapons being used in criminal activities.
Terrible.
So we're not sure if there are more guns, or they are improving on the caliber of guns that they are bringing. But based on our data, where we have seen some 28 more high-powered rifles, this period compared to the same period last year and previous years is an indication that criminals are using more high-powered weapons, and we see that manifested itself also where when we go to the scenes, if I may just finish this point, when you go to the scenes, what you see now, you're seeing in one singular shooting incident, multiple victims because of the caliber weapons that they are using. So we are seeing more deaths.
Yes,
but
terrible.
You have 5 in one case, 4, 3, 2, those numbers because they are using different caliber weapons that's more deadly and create more injuries to individuals.
But so that comes up same like what we say, from rock stone flinging to knife to cutlass to gun. It comes up from a little gun, 5 shooting to 11 to 17 to M16 and 19.
What they call AK
Why?
Something.
Because the small gun can't work no more.
No.
When him hold it and rest it on him side, him just turn and cut down everybody.
Sure, we can't ask the police to solve the gun culture.
No, that can't be the police job.
But the fact that we're not addressing it is culpable. It's criminal in itself. But so how can people help the Get the Guns campaign? That's very important for us to ask you.
I think people can help because a lot of persons out there, they know somebody with an illegal gun. It's a relative, it's a friend, it's a member of the community, and I think it's Mr. Pearnel Charles who raised the point that there are some persons, yourself, who say they are carrying a gun. They don't see it in an illegal way because they're of the opinion that they are protecting. So people might be feeling that because your neighbor next door has a few guns and they say they are the dons and they are protecting you, so you feel that you should not report it. But we're encouraging everyone to call 311-119-311, which is Crime Stop.
Yes.
And of course, you can choose to take the reward, or you may not. Don't have to choose the reward. It's up to you. But there's a reward that's offered for guns.
Yes.
Or you can call 911, which is our 119, and say where the guns are. You don't even have to say who you are. You can also call 811, which is another number that you can call and give information about the guns that you know, the gunmen. Because we have a campaign that we started, Commissioner started off where we're targeting gunmen and gangs. And we're not letting up because we see the more we have revamped our social media campaign and how we are relating to people, and I can tell you that it is working. So we just have to continue to impress upon individuals to just give up the gun.
Yeah. So I can know that a man have a gun, and I can call a number. I don't have to tell you who I am. I can private my phone, but I tell you, say, at number 1 in X place, some whole heap of gun right there.
Yes.
They're either in the back of the fridge, or in the back of the TV, or in the sewer pit. They're around because, boss, as the police drive past, they come out with it, and they're so stupid. They swing it on the side, make everybody see.
There's no shame about it.
They want you to know. It's a bad man live so. And like how you see me, if police come, it's you.
So what's the answer to that?
Well, the superintendent has been attending some special courses, local and international, to tell us how can you deal with that when I know the man have a gun. But I know him knows I know him have a gun. And anyhow the police call or come, I know that him friend is going to take me in. So it is a difficult call.
You have to build confidence, don't you, Superintendent?
All right, so guess what happened? It's a very important point you raise because we hear that all the time, that people are afraid to tell because people going to know who. But guess what happened? The gunmen out there, they are not hiding. They are parading in the community in broad daylight with
broad night light.
They have gone a little further, is that they do video recording and they make them go viral with the illegal guns. So which tells me that these are not people who really care. So anybody from the community can give information about them and the guns.
Whoa.
What I encourage persons to do, if you are, because there are people who lock guns for people, if the gun that you're going to report is a situation where once police come, they will know that it is you. When they call to give that information, they have to make that very clear so that the police that's going to go there to seize that weapon now will have to find a way to protect that individual. So you have to share what you know. So it is so persons that just have to know that whatever you do, you're not going to do it to put yourself at risk. And once you believe that your sharing of information will create some problems for you, you have to make that known without disclosing your identity. We are the expert now. We will do what is necessary to protect individuals.
Thank you for that information. We want to encourage everyone to do just as you have advised, and hopefully that at other times and in other forums we can discuss the deeper question about the escalating gun culture in our land. Senior Superintendent Lindsay, much obliged to you for today. Thank you again.
Just before you leave, my father, the district constable, and I know that the district constable
can help.
Is one of the major way to help. Now, the good thing about it is that the present commissioner and his team are bringing in young people at a higher level.
Yes. But I want the
train them
I want
as
the
district
DC,
constables.
I want the DC to come and live in the community rather
they live there
than be in the police station.
No. Oh, yes. That's it. One of the mistakes. And I think I've spoken to many commissioners that you couldn't get my father to come a brownstone coming in the police station.
No.
Because the people wouldn't want him to leave the district. So when you train these district constables, there must be people who are living there, know the pastor, know the teacher, and people know them know, and they can come to them.
Yeah. Super, I have to leave you, but thank you very much. I'm sure you'll take Honorable Pearnel Charles's advice.
Certainly, I will raise it at another level.
Thank you very much. Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay in charge of communications.
And I want to congratulate her. She's fantastic.
I'm hoping that we can go beyond this Get the Guns campaign.
Ronnie, it is not as easy as we're talking.
Absolutely not. That's why we must engage it.
I don't think that the police is telling us everything, and I don't think they should.
No, I'm not asking that.
No, but there is some way of knowing where the guns are.
Oh?
Prime Minister give the lead.
Oh?
They know where the guns are.
Really?
They know who coming. Ronnie, there's a thing that...
So why are they coming? Why they don't
if you have on something and walk over a gun, it tells us a gun there. So.
Okay. Well, then we...
But you can't say it.
But I don't want the gun to come in at all. You know I'm in favor of disarmament.
Ronnie, the guns have been here.
Sure, so what does that tell us? And they've been causing the murders.
Hold on. You put some new ships on the sea. You cut off probably
good news.
Much of the... Haitian and Jamaica ganja gun connection.
Okay.
But guns are still coming.
Yeah. So how you are old enough, before we break for the JAAA feature, you are old enough like me to remember 1973-74.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
With the gun court law.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
How is the situation different now from then?
Well, I don't think it was as bad then.
Really?
I don't think the gun thing was as bad then.
But then what did we do?
It's worse now.
What did we do? We did the same thing that we are doing now.
Yes.
Just remember indefinite detention?
Yeah, but Ronnie.
What is the difference? Hello. What is the difference between indefinite detention and 15-year minimum sentence?
The difference is if you could find those men to train them. If you could get the church to talk to them, if you could get the teachers to put education, if you could get a job to do it. Right. Some will tell you them not going to work.
I understand that, sir. But
a man tell me you want to give me $60.
Yes. But so what you going to do? Where are we?
The law has to come in.
Where are we really going to be in terms of our capacity to change that situation? If you say, then the only thing we're going to do is to build more prisons and lock them up for a longer period, which is what some people are saying.
But rather,
that's not going to solve the problem.
Experience should show you that country that lock up a lot of these people. One night they all come out. Yes. One break.
That's exactly.
They all come out, and you don't find them back.
So what are we doing?
Well,
why don't we learn from what we did in the 1970s?
But your alternative is not a short term. Your alternative is to provide them with jobs, provide them with education.
No.
What? What is the alternative?
My alternative is a twofold prong. Okay. One, the National Youth Service with a military component, yes. Mandatory.
Yep.
Mandatory.
Put a time on that.
Two, anybody who doesn't go to that, you separate them. That is the one who you deal with, who the police are likely to deal with. Two, you stop. You say the government knows where the guns are. Yeah. Yes. There are people who are making millions and millions importing guns and ammunition into this country because of the prevailing gun culture. Okay, there are people in the district I used to represent who were no difference between the person who lived at number 11 and number 13. He had a legal gun, he had an illegal gun. Both thought that they were equals and needed protection one against the other. Yes, that is the mindset we're in, and you have to have an efficient system to bring people before the court. The aspect of the gun court that I agreed with was the swift trials. Yes, before witnesses disappeared, threatened, intimidated, dead, whatever. Yes, and you leave to the judiciary the discretion as to how within a band of sentencing people are put away. That is not what we're doing now. We are repeating the failures of the past and considering that to be our best alternative, and that is folly.
I hear you.
That is folly.
But let me tell you what is bothering me. If the trial that is taking place, and I don't want to say I'm commenting on it, whatever that is that business, some of the thing that comes out frightens the hell out of me.
But of course it should.
When you hear that a gang in Westmoreland,
but you're not alone.
Say to them followers, listen, you're the boy them in Kingston.
Yeah.
Gone over more than we.
And when you hear
go out and get some.
And when you hear that
you
hear that the gang in Maypen
yes.
may be led by a policeman. Yes, and then you realize how difficult it is for Superintendent Lindsay to get her message across.
No, because I want to repeat what I just said to you, because I know, but I'm not quite sure that you are following through on what you know on that.
Yeah.
Because how do we educate emergency those men that are in their early 30s? Late 20, they're not going to no school.
No,
they don't have a job.
I'm not saying you're
and I'm have to drive a car and live big.
No, but you're caricaturing my view if you think that I'm saying we all put them in school or in camp and bless them with holy water and things will change. That's not it.
So you're talking about the ones coming up.
So, sure.
And what do we do with these now?
Many of them, they have to be separated according to which category they fit. Some of them are follow line.
Yes.
Some of them are friars. Those are the ones that I see in the lockups. Yes.
They drop two words on me while we're so good. Some following one another.
Yes, occasionally, only very occasionally. Contrary to what we were led to believe, you get the people who really are at the top of the chain. Yes, who are bringing in these guns. Yes. And then, how many of those have we prosecuted? How many of those have we convicted?
How many of those have we caught?
Exactly, sir.
No, but hold on. Look what you have just said. Let me see if I understand what you're saying.
Yes, sir. And you put those away.
Just take a section. Just say section X. Have some guns. It could be that the section A supplying them.
Well,
for money.
Whatever it is, we have to break.
For money.
Whatever it is, for whatever purpose, let's do it.
Commercial.
The major gun finds recently.
Yes.
Yes. Have we arrested people, brought them to trial and convicted? The answer is no.
Is it that we don't know them?
Well, so why we don't know them? We're so dumb, but they're wreaking havoc. How that goes, sir. More on that with Honorable Pearnel Charles, veteran commentator and public servant. After the break, this is a Public Eye on the Bridge. We don't skin up on this one. This is the BridgeNation and the Public Eye with Pearnel Charles and myself. We're telling you about a social justice advocate, a strategist, and internationally recognized educator. Dr. Karren Dunkley is going to join us to discuss the Diaspora Global Resource Fund. Yeah, man.
Where's New York?
We're bringing him in, but we first have to link you with Beauregard and Ira Jam in New York. Good morning, good afternoon, Beauregard.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How are you?
I'm doing great. 66 degrees today in New York City, but of course, New York is on high alert today, gentlemen, because of what took place yesterday with the active shooter and the shooting in the subway in Brooklyn, where there were 10 people shot and about 13 people injured.
Yeah.
And that suspect still remains at large today. He is 62-year-old Frank James, and they're now offering $50,000 reward for any information that's leading up to his arrest.
You think he's a madman?
Well, you have to be a madman to do what he did.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure how calculated his actions were, but it was definitely a mad move. You know, there's been over 100 mass shootings in the United States so far this year.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of those arguments you can say, you know, people catch up where two people get into a argument and they pull gun and a lot of innocent bystanders get shot. But most of what we're seeing taking place right now, you can classify it as domestic terrorism, where you have some of these active, whenever you hear the word active shooters, or active shooter, it means, you know, most of the times that there's just one person doing all the killing and all the harm to the public. So it's very crazy right now, from schools to public places. We see a lot of shootings taking place. A couple of years ago back in Las Vegas, where we had another active shooter shooting up the people at the festival, from bombings and, you know, a bunch of things just happening. But the whole final thing in all of this is the fact that, you know, they're going to tell you that they have to take steps to protect our freedom, and in them protecting our freedom, we end up losing a lot of freedoms along the way.
If everybody judging a gun, don't worry, God, what do you expect?
Yes.
The moment you feel stress, the moment you get vexed for something, get rank, as we would say, yeah, and you have a deadly weapon.
Right.
Yes, your girl diss you, a man disrespect you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or your mentality.
Or your mentality switch on you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or you drink too much rum, or you smoke too much spliff, or whatever else. Yeah.
Or you heard about Russian roulette, so you're trying it.
Yeah. Beauregard.
You know, I've never ever had to use a gun for any reason in my whole entire life, and I hope that day never comes.
Yes.
You know, but there are a lot of people here in the United States, especially the fact that it's their civil rights to arm themselves.
Many men consider the firearm as an extension of their penis.
True.
Yeah.
It's an ego thing.
I don't understand that.
I understand what you're saying.
No,
yeah.
I would like to put
I understand the ego thing.
No. Both of you know. I am defending. I'm the defender. You present that to me. What do you mean by that?
I can tell you what I mean by that.
Come, because a lot of people ask me.
It's a
lot of people are asking me.
Ego thing.
This man is saying to me, yes, Pearnel, back him up. Come, tell me what you mean by that.
Beauregard, you go first. I'm the lawyer.
I said it in one word.
Yeah,
so
yes.
It's a thing.
The ego thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ego thing?
Ego thing, yes, man. You believe it. That is how you.
That's it. I won't get any further into the conversation. It's just an ego thing.
Hold on. No, but you can't get away from that, because the man is still asking me. He just said to me, ego means for the man.
Ego means when you
defend himself, right?
No, more than that.
More ego means way more than that.
You mean say if you take one girl, I'm going to come after you?
Yeah, man.
Oh. So that's ego you're
No,
talking.
that's one aspect of it. But ego means when you have such a perception of yourself,
yes,
and your own dignity and your own pride.
So
man superior to somebody.
Good things, but a man dissed that,
yeah,
and you have a deadly weapon. Yes, when a woman trouble you, yes,
or the woman don't come home, or you catch her talk on the telephone,
and your sexual prowess is at stake, or and you have a gun. It's an extension of that same sense of ego that drives you, not in a positive sense, but in a negative sense.
Oh,
very, very clear. Yes, Freud would have have a lot of fun with the gun culture.
Yeah, but I will tell you what my position is.
Yeah.
I feel then that we should not proceed on that. I think education could drive us a lot.
Sir, but why do you say that? Because when we educate our people, and then they go and feel, many of our young people in Jamaica right now, some of the 12-year-olds are vexed with Honorable Horace Chang in the Parliament of Jamaica because they're not going to be allowed to practice with guns at that age.
Yeah.
Yes? So we educate them. And we educate them in the use and the culture of firearms. What kind of folly is that?
Mm-hmm. So you mean Chang is opposing it?
No, Chang is putting a break on it to his credit.
Yes,
but Dr. Chang is not solving the problem, because if at 16, if you tell a person to live a peaceful life, but they are led to understand in this society that the way that you protect yourself and that you assure your manhood, etc., is by having a gun. Yes. At age 16, what are you going to do?
But it's
what do you expect?
It comes back to the point we couldn't drive until we were what, 18?
17.
17.
Mm-hmm.
What is it now?
Same.
No.
Is 18? No, I don't think so. Anyway, go ahead.
No. You couldn't get a driver's license.
Right. You learner's license at 16, driver's license at 17.
No.
Uh-huh.
But it was much higher then.
What's happening? Not hearing the sounds. Yes, go ahead.
No. Well,
what's the point you're making?
The point I'm making is that you cannot go to practice to fire gun, even in sports, at a certain age. That's what Chang is saying.
But the Rifle Association, the big men of this country,
yes,
including some people I know very well,
yes,
are saying, "Oh no, this is the way you teach young people discipline. This is denying them the chance for a scholarship abroad." Truly, this is it. When let us go to the fundament. What do you own a gun for? What do you use a gun for? Why do you have to carry a lethal weapon? What is that? What is in your personality? What is in your life's purpose that demands that?
But they are saying that the gun they're talking about is not lethal. It is.
No, it may be short range.
Yes.
It's not a AK or something else.
And the bullets out of that is.
No, but if it can hurt you and kill you, what you do with it? We want a culture of peace. We want a culture of prosperity. We want a culture.
Ronnie, you're not going to find it down here.
So we live.
You are what you are just saying. You are not going to find it on earth.
You have. Well, it's not. What should we be striving after? What should the Diaspora Global Resource Fund be
when they
expending
turn on the TV
all of
and
their
look at
energy?
what Putin is doing?
So we won't follow him.
No.
Dr. Karren Dunkley, afternoon. What a big discussion you're getting into with us.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank
Sir
you very much.
Thwaites and Sir Charles Sr.
You know, I've always felt so comfortable with having a woman in her presence, because when men are starting to talk all sorts of rubbish, she always come over and said, "Okay, darling, just take it easy."
Right, take it easy.
Thank you for coming in between the New Yorker and this churchman and me.
What a life, eh? Karren Dunkley, we so regard the work you do with the Diaspora Global Resource Fund. Tell our listeners here and abroad what it is, what are your aspirations, and how can we rope in and help.
Thank you so much again for having me. It really is a pleasure. And what a fascinating discussion that you're certainly having, and I'm sure our listeners are engaged. So greetings and salutations from the Jamaica Diaspora, Northeast United States. And for us, this, what we're calling the Jamaica Rapid Response Fund, is a call to action to ensure that we have a source of funding of resources available to Jamaican nationals during times of what we're calling international distress. For example, we have learned certainly a lot of lessons coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, and COVID still a keep. However, it is somewhat abated. We learned from the COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with the recent crisis that we witnessed with our students as they needed to flee from the Ukraine.
Yes.
And for us as a diaspora, typically people reach to us within the moment, and we don't have a pot of gold, contrary to popular belief that we're sitting on, especially not during these times, as so many individuals, families, and businesses here have also felt the economic downturn, the brunt of the pandemic on revenue and on earning. So our goal with the Jamaica Rapid Response Fund is to have a source of funding that is available so that nationals, first of all, can be reunited, that we should not be scrambling, we should not be wandering or scattered to think about how can we provide aid, immediate aid, because we see how critical timing is to ensure that our nationals are safe. So reunification is certainly the first goal, whether it is that they need to be reunited with family or friends, or reunited or relocated to physically to another country,
Yes.
and then resettlement. When they do return, or when they do get to the preferred destination, what will that and what should that support? What should it look like?
I am in admiration, Pearnel, of the thoughtfulness of this group, because that's a very comprehensive assessment.
Are these people that talking about in Jamaica or in the diaspora?
Where are they? The Karren Dunkley? They're all over.
Yes, so the Jamaica Diaspora Northeast is comprised of 14 states.
Mm-hmm.
However, we must be so, I would say, we must be so complimentary and so grateful to the entire global diaspora, because we have received donations from all across the United States. We have a live link on our website, and so anyone from anywhere in the world can actually contribute to the fund. Our fiscal partner is School News Nationwide, that has a history of strong governance and strong internal controls, and actually is headed by the what we're calling an ambassador to Ukraine, Bill Tinglin, who was actually appointed not as a government ambassador, but as a cultural ambassador to Ukraine.
No, that's great. What's the name of the institution again?
It's School News Nationwide is our fiscal conduit. They're our fiscal partner. And if you go on our website, JAANED.org, Jamaica Diaspora Northeast United States, JAANED.org, you will see the landing page for the Jamaica Rapid Response Fund.
Yes.
And it details our objectives and how to contribute. And 100% of what we collect of donations go back to the students and to those in need.
These are students who are abroad.
Students who were in Ukraine.
Oh,
am I right?
Yes, that is correct. Students who were in the Ukraine. Let me say this, it's not just a fund only for the Ukrainian students. In this instance, we are dealing primarily with the students from Ukraine.
But
however, the funds are going to be available for nationals in need. It's just that we're committing this first set of funds to our students,
Sure, in the particular crisis.
Yes, correct.
Sure. Well, that's wonderful. I mean, I went to the United States.
Yes.
I don't know about you. Fortunately, I had support of a scholarship. But there are so many of our young people who, apart from the emergency of the students in Ukraine, who are in the United States and who really need help in order not to drop out of school.
Ronnie.
Yes.
I was the president of the West Indian Student Association.
Dr. Karren Dunkley, did you know that? We're dealing with pedigree here, you know.
From all the islands.
Yes.
You know what was one of our big projects?
What?
Baron Leon Dragonair would come to the United States for a ball. And that money would help many Jamaicans who think them going to America and think America free.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
And when them land, they don't know where they're going.
Yes.
They come with 1 year school fee, no cold clothes.
Yes.
They come in a good short thing above the navel, and they come in the ice. And Horace Clark, your friend who have died, was the secretary, the treasurer for 4 years. And we did a fantastic job.
Yes.
And
well, this is a continuity, Dr. Karren.
You know what? Absolutely. I would say it certainly is an extension and a continuity. And in full transparency, I also came to the United States on a student visa initially before my father processed our paperwork. So we know that these kinds of supports are critical to not just providing what I would call a safety net, but also to ensure sustained support. So we don't have to look around and say, boy, what will happen to me? Just even basic food,
Sure.
clothing.
Your own dignity, your independence, your ability to concentrate on your studies.
Because we all felt that summer clothes can wear in winter New York.
No.
Which of the parish, which of the state you went, Doctor?
So I wanted to say hi to my mom, Miss Barbara Dunkley. We grew up in Essex City, Spanish Town, but my parents come from St. Elizabeth, Elderslie, and I attended St. John's University when I did arrive first for school in the United States and later on Teachers College, Columbia. So New York is a very, very tough city. And this is not a city boy. When you're broke in New York, you're really broke because no one is going to give you $1. Yeah. So it really is important.
When we come back from the break, Dr. Dunkley, tell us what the kind of responses that you're getting to the campaign.
Certainly.
And remind us again how people of goodwill, anywhere they're listening to us, can contribute. Just a moment. This is a Public Eye on the Bridge, talking big stuff. We link the diaspora and their needs, Jamaicans, anywhere they go. Dr. Karren Dunkley is our guest. We soon come. This is the Public Eye with Pearnel Charles and myself, Ronnie Thwaites, talking with Dr. Karren Dunkley of the Diaspora Global Resource Fund, linking with Beauregard and Ira Jam Radio in the tri-state area of the United States. Dr. Karren, how people been responding to this good cause that you are promoting?
We're so grateful for the overwhelming response. We have to acknowledge our partner, Xavier Murphy from Jamaicans.com, who really was instrumental in bringing the needs and the attention of the Ukrainian students, certainly to the Northeast, as well as our great partner on the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, Kashane Denton. And he actually had a program, as we did across the entire diaspora, and people have contributed and continue to give. We were able to send some funding to some of the students.
Great.
We implemented a disbursement calendar because it's so many students, I think, still in Jamaica. We have to determine what's the equitable way to distribute funds. And so we have developed a calendar, so there's a science attached to it, and there's no funny business or any preferential treatment.
Well, that's good.
But rather, is there more than 20 students?
There are a lot of them, and
Yes.
they have varying needs, varying levels of their courses, varying alternatives that they now have to go. The Cubans are offering some assistance. The Germans.
Saw the Cubans.
Yes.
Cubans are offering to take them.
Well, yes. So there'll be varying needs. Many of them will want to go back to courses that are similar to the ones that they have.
Yeah.
Some will want to come to the United States, and maybe there'll be opportunities for them there. So I agree with you. You need a very sensitive system for disbursement, according to real need.
Yes, absolutely. And certainly a system that is reflective of their current needs before, as they are also thinking about, and you said that, Mr. Thwaites, about continuing their studies, they have immediate needs of food, clothing, and shelter.
Clearly.
Because they literally came back with
Nothing.
only their documents.
Sure.
They have nothing. Amazing.
Thank you for broadening that.
And one of the good things about it, some just need a year.
Yes.
A year and a half.
Close by.
Yes.
Yes.
So close to it.
Sure.
So they really need that immediate
We'd have to see that.
Yes.
Karren Dunkley, I believe you met Prime Minister when he was in the United States recently. What did you discuss? What sympathy or support did you get for the efforts that the Diaspora Council is making?
Absolutely. We did have a town hall, Ambassador Audrey Marks, Let's Connect, and she does have this town hall quite frequently. It's quite an excellent mechanism to engage with the diaspora all across the United States, and the ministers, as well as the Prime Minister, they've been very accessible to the diaspora through this conversation, this discussion. And the Prime Minister has made a commitment. As we know, Minister Kamina Johnson, Senator Minister, also stated that they remain committed to not only resettling the students in Jamaica, but in playing an active role in helping them to source and to find their next steps regarding completion of their studies. So the attitude to the diaspora is always one of gratitude. We as the diaspora, we certainly are thankful for the gratitude. We want to push our relationship with Jamaica, however, and we want to say that as we celebrate Diamond Jubilee, as we embrace 60 years of independence, we would like to see extended to the diaspora, perhaps through a ministry paper, where every public board in Jamaica will have a member of the diaspora serving on that public board with the technical expertise. So we know that members of diaspora, that they do sit on boards in terms of partisan appointments. What we're talking about is an amplified version of that, where those with technical expertise in the different areas. And we know that the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, as well as members of the former Jamaica Diaspora Advisory Board, would be a good subset to start. Because everybody said, then who are going to choose? Start with us.
Sure.
Start with those who served before us. Yeah. So this way they can't say, oh, well, it's only because of this government. No, because those who have served before have served under different governments. And if you look at the pool of those individuals, begin there. So we are appointed to public boards. Not me, Karren Dunkley. I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking to ensure that as diaspora, we're not only seen as a financial resource, but also our intellectual capital, our intellectual remittance. We can contribute to Jamaica's national development in that very concrete way.
Well, I think you're being modest in your in the position you've taken, Pearnel. My own view is that there's a role for the diaspora at the level of policy making too, and I reject entirely the views that are sometimes expressed by narrow-minded individuals that because you you have only one foot in Jamaica or half a foot, that somehow you're not being you're not qualified. When in fact we're asking you to do all of these things that you're so willingly exerting yourself to do. What do you think, sir?
These are the people.
Yes.
Some of those who are, and I've said this in this program before.
You have.
Some of those who are in the diaspora who are working so hard for Jamaica, they have struggled to travel, struggled to settle, and now they are helping others in such a way. Doctor, I misread your biography because I see you're assisting the Sunshine Girls.
Oh, yes. We worked with sports. We sponsored them. Actually, not through the diaspora. I do have a business in Jamaica through certainly, and through our business, Spirits of Montego Bay and Shark Security, we were able to sponsor the Sunshine Girls because there's so much outreach to the diaspora. Yeah, and to certainly your point, so much around policy and just this give. And it would be great to contribute. I wasn't meek, Mr. Thwaites, but we want to, here's it. We're asking for representation and we're asking to be included in policy. But we're saying as a first step, if we really show me your motion, right? If we really want to have clear commitment, a good friend of mine said, show me your motion. If we really want to step up, begin with the boards. And then we can talk about the Senate. And then we can talk about constitutional reform and all of the changes that is required for parliamentary representation. But start there.
What about the schools?
You're a true Dunkley, but I tell you something. I tell you something. I misread. I thought you were the Reggae Girls.
Well, they're doing so
well. You know why?
Yeah.
Because one of the Reggae Girls have to be my granddaughter.
You see that now? You have never met a more boastful grandfather, Karren Dunkley, than this man. But here, what about the schools? Because all of you are connected with some schools, one sort or another. Many of you, by being graduates or by being friends, whatever. There's always an alumni representative on a school board, and where there is a diaspora department of that school, an alumni association, they should be represented. It's the easiest one. It's the obvious one. It wouldn't take any change in legislature or a huge cultural shift. Why not that for a start?
Absolutely. And so many diasporans, and that, by the way, is an invented word, really have stated that let's certainly include our school boards because that is indeed a place to start. We're naturally, to your point, we're attached to our schools. We serve on the alumni associations here. The largest organization in the United States is an alumni organization. It's the Union of Jamaican Alumni Associations. And so many of us continue to give. So let's include our school boards. But to get to that policy, when you talk about the sustainable development goals, when you talk about the green economy, the orange economy, the blue economy, when before the Ukrainian crisis, we recognized that climate change was certainly one of the areas that we as Jamaica we need to be concerned about. Let us talk about recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic and the education policies attached to that, and how we recover the learning loss, and what does that mean for children and teaching and learning and leadership in schools daily. Let's talk about crime, and let's talk about pension and digitization. So we really need to have a seat at the table, but not just a seat, a voice as well, and a mechanism that is not only interim or fragmented, but is integrated and extremely concrete.
Look, we have to...
Ronnie Joseph, we have Bogart is there.
Yes.
What's the connection?
The connection?
Between the two, because with him and this lady, there need to be a connection. Because
but Beauregard, you people at Arijama are always interviewing people who are of Jamaican origin or Jamaican lovers in their various capacities and how they link with Jamaica, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and that's a critical thing. I think the use of media.
What I'm saying is, do they know each other?
Well, that's what the bridge is supposed to make sure we do.
No, well, we want to make sure that this connection is on today.
Yes.
Because from Irie, a lot of Jamaicans are listening, and I'm sure that you're still Miss Dunkley, right?
Yeah. I Miss Dunkley, Mrs. Williams, correct.
Oh, come on, you just spoiled it.
I apologize for this randy old man, Karen. Tell us how.
The point is that we really want to make sure that this New York connection with Irish Jam and yourself, because there are a lot of people who probably will call you later and make a contribution.
JNED.org.
Yes, thank you so much. So again, to give to the Jamaica Rapid Response Fund, and this is a fund that is going to outlive my tenure.
Sure.
Our goal is to endow the fund to get it to 100, 200, 500,000 US dollars. Again, for all Jamaican nationals to access during times of international distress, reunification, to keep in touch with governmental agencies, resettlement. So they go to JAANED.org. They click right on the landing page. You see the link, Jamaica Rapid Response Fund, and you can absolutely contribute through PayPal, through your bank, through your credit card. And if you would like further information, you can certainly email us at nediaspora@gmail.com, nediaspora@gmail.com.
nediaspora@gmail.com.
Correct.
Final question for you. Why do this, Karren Dunkley? I'm sure you're busy, you have all kind of things to attend to. What is it? How long you been in the States now? You say you have business in Jamaica. We're so glad. But why you give all this energy? You don't get any money back for that?
Absolutely not. And I always smile because I always say to everyone that this is true national service, it's community service, it's human service.
I love hearing that.
And that is what this is. I am full. I'm also selfish because I become full when I give to others, like so many Jamaicans. And boy, our navel string cut to Jamaica, Mr. Thwaites and Mr. Charles. We just love Jamaica, like me, we just love Jamaica. Jamaica is our beloved country, and we love our Jamaican brothers and sisters, my family, my friends. I grew up in Jamaica, and we recognize the potential. And I'm only as successful as I am here in the United States because of my roots being from Jamaica.
What a testimony. Thanks so much for your company. We check you again on the Public Eye on the Bridge. Really grateful for you today. Want to encourage support for the Jamaica Diaspora Fund. All the best, Karren Dunkley. Thanks again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, thank you.
Take care.
20 minutes before 1 o'clock. Pearnel Charles, did you hear what that lady said? I become full when I give back to others. When I asked her the question, she speaks about you don't strong nationalist spirit. You don't have to ask for any adjectives because you
feel it.
You hear it. You feel it.
You feel
you got it.
This is in her.
So my question, Busha, is this: why is it that we don't have more of that feeling among ourselves here? Because
I think it's easy to answer that there were no bridge before. Bridge, crossover, to get over it wasn't there.
Okay.
I think the bridge is a connection
between them and us.
Yes.
But within, why is it that that political service, political culture in Jamaica, it cannot provoke that kind of urge, of verve that we could hear and feel in Karren Dunkley.
There are one or two people who just called me a while ago and say, please tell Ronnie that there are some of us who are here.
Yes, there are.
Maybe not enough.
Yes.
The truth is not enough,
yes.
But there are some.
Yes, there are. Thank
God
for that.
There are some who are here.
Yes, there are.
Who are making some massive contribution quietly.
Massive, indeed.
Right?
But I want that to be infectious. I want that to be the next pandemic. Yes?
Oh, right.
No, man, using, borrowing those terms, because we need, it is a revival of the national spirit, a sense of common purpose, a sense of trust one for the other. That is the only thing going to take us out of the morass we're in
and
now.
You can institute a word, not necessarily revival, right? But it is a rescue mission that we have to do, because there are some running who, they will tell you, they themselves don't look like they want to change.
Yeah.
We feel we can't change them,
Yeah.
but we know if they don't change, we have a problem.
I remember, again, history is helpful. Sometimes the people may think we're being just nostalgic. But I remember 1973-74 when this nation cohered around the issue of literacy, for example. Everybody, irrespective of political considerations. I remember joining the late Right Honourable Hugh Lawson Shearer, who had just lost the election a year or two before, yes, on a platform lifting up the task of education, of literacy, of human potential in Jamaica, yes. There was there was such a warm feeling. It was a feeling that I had at Independence time, 60 years ago, as a teenager. What is going to revive that spirit amongst us? What can we do?
You have to first find out what killed that spirit.
I think I know
why that spirit lost its heat.
Yeah.
Why it lost its warmth.
What do you think, G?
Well, it's others, our brothers and sisters, our friends.
And us too.
Right? The young people didn't get a connection with that culture.
Yeah.
So they go there. As I said, we were flinging stones, then we go to knife, then we go to scissors, then we come to gun and feel that is, my profession is to have a gun. I cannot take what I want.
Yeah. Beauregard, tell us what you feel listening to this, because the people in the diaspora, yearning, straining, dying to come home, whether it is for independence or for Christmas, send home the barrels, struggling in their own situation, still friend with a whole heap of Jamaicans and Caribbean people. What's your perspective on what's happening here? How we revive the national spirit? What do you think?
I think one way in which we can revive the national spirit is, to help a lot of the people in Jamaica with opportunities. I think that's what a lot of people in Jamaica are lacking right now, opportunities.
Right.
Just to put themselves in better situations.
Yes.
To be self-dependent or independent.
True. That's very practical. I appreciate that. You know something that I know? Sometimes the overseas chapters of the Old Boys and Old Girls Association, the Alumni Association, they are more avid and active than the local counterparts,
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
And one of the reasons for that is the inspiration of going overseas. People running, I went overseas.
Yeah.
If I was here, I don't know what would have happened to me.
Yeah.
You went overseas,
yeah.
But some of us have returned.
Yeah.
The point is, however, cannot mark off what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
How do we revise? How do we introduce and get growing in this young generation? That the bad thing of the past, we have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And we have to live in a different area of life.
Yeah. The South Koreans know how to do it, the Japanese know how to do it.
So what happened to us?
Well, we don't follow their fashion sufficiently. The first thing that they teach their little children is civic virtue. The responsibility for yourself, the responsibility for others. That's why they teach them to bow when they meet anybody else. That's why they teach them to cherish the national anthem, that there's no question about their civic loyalties, because their personal and their national responsibilities come before ABC or 2 times 5.
Could I tell you, we have to have a little joke in this. I was in Japan.
Yeah.
And I saw a terrible accident.
Yeah.
2 men were driving. And they crashed. And Ronnie, they came out. And I said, Lord mercy, look at this now. They're going to kill one another.
Yeah.
You know what they did?
Bow to each other.
They came out to bow to each other.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. I thought they were going to fight.
Pearnel just taught us a lesson, hasn't he?
Yes,
They went, they bow to each other as if they're saying, in other words, the bowing alone had several things to it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. Expect me. I will. Everything was in that. We would be firing gun and flinging stone and thumping man down.
Let's take a break on the Public Eye on the Bridge with Ira Jam. And when we come back, we tie up some of the emotional edges, the spiritual sinews of this discussion. We're talking about the national spirit. We've been talking to Karren Dunkley of the Diaspora Council. Soon come. Stay tuned. Well, we're talking about the national spirit, Beauregard. We're talking about how we can build up that again. My view is that you start at the earliest stages. You start in the family. You start with the media. You make sure that people learn how to relate to each other. It's not a question of what's in their DNA. You know, these are learned things. What do you think? That's my view. That's how we ought to do it. I have a worry before we close the program today, though, Pearnel Charles. Yeah. There's our listeners here and elsewhere will know that there's a very significant shifting of or renewal, reform of the public service that's taking place in Jamaica. You're a trade unionist.
Yes.
Now, there's a big discussion about the 20% concession on vehicles. Yes. But whichever way that goes, and that's very important, you may want to address it. But I have a problem.
Yeah.
Because we can reform the salary scales and the allowances and so on. But then in the discussion, are we also discussing increases in productivity in exchange for increases in wages?
I told you again, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to speak on the point again.
Right.
We were never, and I'm talking personal laws of trade union.
Yeah.
I have never been around the table to ask the employer to tell me what his production is. And that was wrong.
Oh dear.
Because I was talking about salary, not thinking that if you don't produce, they can't sell and get salary to pay the workers.
Yes.
So we have never asked the employer, put on the table your quantity of production. Put on the table making those who are producing more get more.
Sure.
Make production an incentive.
Yes.
Never.
Yes.
And that is what the employer should have been saying to us. Listen, they said we can't pay that because we don't make that. They didn't tell us the right thing.
Yeah.
We should have known that the production line is X, the quantity is
and
X.
Therefore, if we
increase that,
sure, then you can get the money.
Exactly.
Well, now, hold on, sir. This has to be the mantra for the entire nation.
Yeah.
It's
not only employer there, but it's
government has to be part of that too.
Of course.
So if we for years we have hitched on this notion of 9% of GDP, of the sector mustn't cost us more than that. Public sector wages, okay?
Yeah.
So now if we're rolling up all the allowances together, and we are shifting it to salary, and people will want extra salary. Yes, to include that, the 4% is obviously just a holding activity. They've been promised that next year this is going to be different. All right. So if that's what Ernst & Young is advising Finance Minister Clark, I can't. That is only going to be a further burden on the taxpayer. Yes, unless there is a concomitant question as how we get additional accountability, productivity out of those whose emoluments, remuneration is being difficult,
Ronnie,
changed.
I'm not going to be like for this, and I'm prepared for it.
Yeah.
The public service, you're calling for looking at their salary, what is their production?
Yeah. I can tell you, one of the most difficult and expensive aspects of legal practice. I've been practicing law for 51 years. One of the most frustrating, expensive to the client, and frustrating aspect is dealing with public bureaucracy. Yes,
and that's a proper word, because that is a setback.
Yeah,
that is one of the setback in production.
And
the bureaucracy that it has, and have so many people around the table.
There's a minister of government. Yes, until recently, present time, who is, and I said to him, what is keeping you from achieving A, B, and C, which you have set out in your objectives in some of these lovely sectoral addresses that you and I used to listen to, and which people write for us, and we have cocktail parties.
I want to read them.
Yeah, and then and his point was, I cannot get X, A, B, C, and D done. I don't have paying people better in order for them to achieve those things is good, but unless you have measurable productivity. Yes, I served in a ministry where the annual evaluation, over 90% of the evaluation questionnaires that used to come back rated the employee being evaluated as being excellent, and yet the results at the end of the day did not reflect that at all.
Because there's a difference between personality and production.
So, sir,
there's a difference between being nice and producing.
So if in fact we are facing this, to me, I really wanted to put it to you, because on this particular issue on this program, because if we do not connect increased productivity with reformed and increased remuneration, then we're wasting that money. Wasting it not in terms of benefit for the people who get it, God bless them, but what is the outcome for the taxpayer, for the whole of us? Where is the common good advanced?
I will tell you, Ronnie, if I were going back to the bargaining table tomorrow morning, I would challenge the employer.
Yes.
I'd say, what is your percentage production now?
Yeah.
What is your production? What is your percentage of payment?
Yeah.
Don't production have to give you payment?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go after it. Yeah. Employee, employer.
So
production going to be increased by X.
Yeah. So if I want a 20% rise, I must have a 20%, but I must contribute to a 20% increase in production.
Of course.
And that may mean that there has to be all kinds of efficiencies. It may mean the boss can't cream off what he used to cream off at the top, or it means I can't take 2 hours for lunch or come in an hour late. Yes, and then say, boy, I'm a sufferer, I must get more money. But it is developing a production culture. What have we done on this public eye today?
Give me 2 seconds.
Have it.
A man said to me, he wants to go back to Canada.
Yeah.
But boy, I'm not like how the employer push him. I say, all right, I'm going to tell you how to stay in Canada.
Right.
You're a farm worker? I say, yes. What time the farm start? Him say 8 o'clock. I say, what time you reach? He say 8. I said, you don't want to stay.
No.
What time it close? He say 4. What time you leave? He say 4. He say, you don't want to stay, man.
No.
I say, when the employer come at the gate, him come at 8:30, you know.
Yeah.
When him come at 8:30, him going to ask, what you doing here?
Yeah.
He says, boss, I want an early start.
Yeah, man.
When him knock the bell for you to go home at 4 o'clock, and you said to him, say, boss, let me just finish this.
Yes. You must.
He will never let you
go. Point taken. Or your earthy commentator. That makes all the difference. But of course, that makes all the difference. Yes. So if we what have we done on this program today as we wrap up?
Let me say the last quick point. Many of our public servants have dropped their hands because they are pushing production and nobody's coming with them. Not even the employer.
Well, this is it, because we believe that somebody else is to give us thing and somebody oppress us, and if historically, and therefore right now, boy, we can't really.
So that civil servant listening to us now and say, I come early, I stay late. I make sure the desk is clean. Some gone, some don't come, and I get the same pay. So what am I doing it for?
Can't work. Yes.
Can't work.
Yeah, got your point. So what have we done today? We've talked about reviving the national spirit. We've talked about developing a culture of productivity. Those are the things we talk about, on the public eye on the Bridge 99 FM. Thank you, sir. This is an enlightening discussion. Happy to have you. Looking forward to next time. Thanks for Garth Gayle of the Jamaica Amateur Athletic Association, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay of the Jamaica Constabulary, and Social Justice Advocate and Strategist Dr. Karren Dunkley of the Diaspora. That's what we do on this program. Thanks to producer LaFane Wigan, technical operators Richie Rainford, Jeffrey Brown, the entire production team here at the Bridge 99. Our friend Beauregard at Arijam, thanks always for your company.
Keep always a pleasure. You have to tell us who are your team up there. We need to call one or two names. We need to
call out the names. And boy,
no problem.
Next time we will do that.
Next time we come. Please.
Have a blessed Easter. See you next week.